Hey, a short, quick episode. Today you saw it in the title, Good Things Finally Happened. One thing is, of course, on September 29th, that's for me already today, the new morning drama on NHK with Akari Takaishi will start. It's called Bake Bake, about the wife of the guy who wrote, for example, the book Kaidan, which was turned into a movie by Masaki Kobayashi, one of the probably most famous classic Japanese movies ever. And so they have this trend to do shows about the wives of the famous guys. And that's the new thing Akari Takaishi has. And I finally finished here my collection of characters from Baby Assassins Every Day. So I have her and him and him. Wow. And her and him. And him. And of course her. And this guy. This guy. So all the important characters from Baby Assassins Every Day. And as you might know already, the show got finally announced for US release, at least on HBO Max, and it will start in October on the 17th, or I guess they will just throw out the whole season. It's 12 episodes long, and I want to talk a tiny bit about it without spoiling as much as I can. You can still watch my videos about the whole show when it aired on TV in Japan. I watched each episode and I reviewed each episode one by one. So if you want to watch the show one by one and then switch to my videos to see what I had to say about it, what I imagined it might turn into, which usually it didn't, it turned into very good things, then you can still watch those videos. But here, for example, this thing happened here. Or we have this wonderful lady, or a lot of stuff, this and this, and there's so much goodness going on, like here and here and here, and so it's all beautiful and wonderful. Some people, or a lot of people, already watched the first episode on YouTube because it was actually released just after it aired on TV with English subtitles and everything wonderful, and people were like, so exciting. I hope they will just drop everything on YouTube, and then they didn't, and it took like now 1 year until it finally came to the West. Of course, the whole show is still written by Yugo Sakamoto, and he directed most of the show. The few episodes, I think maybe 3, 4, 5, something like that, were directed by Wataru Hidanami, who made, for example, the movie Searchlight, and Wataru Kudo, who didn't do that much other stuff. I think they're both quite busy being assistant directors, even though Mr. Hidanami tries to get more into directing himself, and there's a new film coming from him. It's called Mushi, sometime this year. And of course we have our normal cast. We have, of course, Akari Takaishi in the series since the first movie. Some people believed even before that, because people believe or believed that that her character in A Janitor is actually the same as in Baby Assassins. It's not. It's a completely different character. Just looks the same because it's the same person dressed in some school uniform stuff, and it has nothing to do with that. And of course, Saori Izawa, wonderful. Same there in the series since the first movie, and one of probably her first bigger, like, actually acting role. I mean, she was in A Janitor and she did some smaller stuff before that, but she never really acted like she had to do here, and I think she got much better during that time. Then we have Tsubasa Tobinaga, who is in the series as well all the time, but more a side character. It's their boss. You might remember he's a comedian of the group Rubber Girl. Fun fact, his partner, his comedy partner from usually like Manzai in Japan, comedy is called Manzai, the main part of comedy. And it's always like two people. And his comedy partner is actually the guy who plays the Kombini boss in the first movie. So the guy who has like one scene, two scenes, and then he's out of the whole thing, and his friend stayed all the time. So we have Tomo Nakai, who is there since part 2, I think. Even though she is in a short movie that's on the bonus disc from the first movie, where she appears with Mr. Atomu Mizuishi, and they're like the people who dispose the bodies. And Mr. Mizuishi did some more stuff. He was, for example, Full Metal Alchemist or Inuyashiki or in Yellow Dragon's Village. A very funny guy. I haven't really tried. Saori Izawa is doing some kind of a podcast radio show thingy. You need to you need to have a paid subscription for a Japanese app to actually listen to it, and it's all in Japanese, so I guess most people won't really enjoy it. It's quite relaxing. It's very nice. She just talks about stuff, and it's if you just want to relax and calm down, it's nice to listen to her. But he is on the same platform, does something similar, but I haven't listened to that because you either have to pay for the full subscription to listen to everything, or you have to pay for each personality that you want to listen to, and then it's gets quite expensive quite soon. So I'm currently just paying for Saori, and maybe someday I will upgrade. But he was on her show one time, and is a very nice, fun guy, and does a lot of fun stuff. So that's good. And I think he was even in Sakamoto's comedy special that he did. I forgot, but I think he was in that as well. It was very fun, but only online for a very short time. Yeah. Anyway, then we have, who else is important? We have Ryo Ichinose, who was, for example, in Ghost Killer or Gesuidos, so more Sakamoto related stuff here. We have Takenori Goto, who you may know from Dance With Me, a very fun movie. And I hear more important, Takuya Kusakawa, who was in Confessions, or the good old Cherry Magic, 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard. Yeah, and he did some Ultraman. And we have Tokyo Emoto. You may know him from Perfect Days or Hanagatami or Labyrinth of Cinema or Outrage. Crazy guy, has probably one of the best roles in this show, but just appears in the second half. And we have Hirotaro Honda, who did stuff like Kamikaze Ghost, Shall We Dance, Dead or Alive, Gamera 3, Graveyard of Honor, a lot of stuff. An older guy, and he is one of the main characters in the first half of the show. And yeah, I guess that's enough for the cast. We have some appearances from, for example, Yoshiyuki Morishita. You may know him when you see his tease. Or Atsuko Maeda has a little cameo. Or even Yoshiyuki Yamaguchi, who you recently was in Isolated, which some people celebrate a lot. I told you before, months ago. Anyway, so a lot of a good cast. And as I already let's slip in, basically the show is in 2 parts. So you could actually watch it like 2 movies. Just imagine it's 2 extra movies. 12 episodes, and each episode is like 25 minutes or something, so it's pretty short. So it's like 2 slightly longer movies, but it's very amusing. It's not that much every day, as the title suggests. It's not that much chilling. They actually have quite a lot of work to do, but maybe it's more the everyday work life that's implied here. But it's quite interesting how it picks up these parts. Especially the second one was very much focused on economical issues, like we had this the second movie. You might remember, if you haven't watched it, what are you doing here? Go watch that. The second movie is very much focused on these 2 part-time hitmen who want to level up to a proper job and therefore do some silly stuff. And we have all this talk about different categories for food, like limits and all the stuff where how much is what and who can afford what. And we have the 2 protagonists being broke for the first time in a long time and actually having to do some part-time jobs to have some money and all these things. So it's very focused on those aspects. I would still say the movie that goes the hardest in the Sakamoto verse on this part is Nemuru Baka, which still hasn't been released in the West, even though in Japan it's on Netflix. So why didn't they just get it for the whole world? But I hope someday it will be released. Anyway, so this part of especially the second movie gets picked up again, and the whole show focuses very much on these 2 getting sucked a bit deeper into the machinery of the assassin association, basically. So first they get into this big project of this old super killer who wants to get rid of an elderly lady, and he's been planning this job for years and years and years. And now it's finally time to go through with the plan, and he needs some help. So he makes these 2, or he gets these 2 made into joining his team. And they're actually forced to do some teamwork. And that's the first story. And the second story is basically that they get in the so-called job rotation system, and they actually get separated, where Chisato gets into some kind of office job where they plan all the jobs and stuff, and Mahiro has to help the guy who gets rid of other killers who they don't really want or need anymore. And they get in a lot of trouble there. So it focuses a lot on these job related things, economy, all that kind of stuff, and it picks up a lot from the second movie and fixes some issues that I had with the second movie. I always felt like, especially movie number 2, these two are too ruthless. They have no emotion for their victims, and if you pay attention to the show, it starts in the first episode. This aspect clearly is a focus point for the whole show, so you should pay attention to that and see their character development. Of course, their relationship gets deeper and more interesting. They have more contact with normal people, and yeah, they develop quite a lot from there on, and it's super interesting and super nice. And like I said, it fixes a lot about the second movie, and the second movie is the one that I had the biggest issues with, and so I was very happy. The third movie, Nice Days, already went in this direction, and yeah, the show just fixes every issue I had with the third, except for Saudi Isa was acting in the beginning when they're eating, and she eats ice like a baby. It's still a little bit not my favorite scene in the whole series, but yeah, it's very cute and very fun, and for me it's now interesting. I might watch it again. I watched the show like already 5 times, I think, and now I'm reading the manga version, which is actually very, very interesting because it's still in the first half of the show, so it still has the same concept of this guy who has this plan for years to kill this lady, and then he gets some help from them and stuff. And in the manga, it's completely different. The whole plot is completely different. So we get some different episodes in between, more like the daily life stuff. It's different. So it started out with a scene that's not in the TV show, and Sakamoto said he wanted to put in some stuff that he couldn't do in the show. Makes sense. And from there on, it stayed pretty close to the show, and suddenly it did some stuff that's completely different. Most of the side characters that appear in the TV show don't appear in the manga, but you get different ones. I would say it's more action focused. I guess that's one thing that they couldn't do in the show, and that's one thing you shouldn't expect. There's not much action. It's basically similar to the first movie, I would say. Like, you have a big action scene at the beginning, a big action scene at the end, and in between maybe someone gets shot, or a short fight scene or something. But don't expect like the first episode that you can watch on YouTube has this big action scene in a kind of diner, a family restaurant, and that's absolutely the exception. It's not the standard. You get some nice action, but not all that much. So especially for the climactic moments, of course, you get some very nice action. Not as good as in Nice Days. I generally don't expect like the visual quality of Nice Days. Nice Days is still the most, I would say, high budget and well-made thing in the whole franchise. But here actually the writing and character development is very, very great and wonderful, and how they pick up stuff from basically the second movie, and not so much the first, I would say. I'd say the first one is still a little bit more separated. It's more about the two girls coming together, but after that, it really keeps going, and it feels like either he had some ideas how he wants to continue, even though I think in the marketing for the third movie, they made it sound like it might be over, and then they announced the TV show, I'm not sure if he actually had an idea how to continue it, but yeah, at least he picked up enough stuff and did something with those old ideas that he had, that it feels like it was planned or like that all the time. I know he wrote the second, and they planned on making a third one directly after it, but because COVID stuff, it didn't happen, and the third one got delayed, and he wrote a new script and changed everything. It's not the third movie that he had in mind, so I don't know, maybe he recycled some ideas there, or maybe at least he had some ideas what he wants to go on, like what he wants to continue, what aspects of the second movie he wants to um yeah work into their character development. So that's really, really, really great and wonderful, and I really like the show. Yeah, it's just a great TV show. Watch it, enjoy it. Yeah, pay attention to the stuff about work and economy, their relationship. Second movie, keep all that in mind, and yeah, have fun. Have fun. Go, enjoy, and yeah, Tokyo Emoto is the coolest guy in the show. It's so much fun, wonderful. Yeah, and yeah, technology is evil.